Hi again, Year 3. It's time for a little bit more of this book all about our anatomy. It's called Kay's Anatomy and it's by the author Adam Kay. Okay, this week we've been learning about the lungs, so I'm going to carry on with that chapter. Breathing is one of those things that, like your heart beating, happens in the background without you having to think about it. A bit like a driverless car or when your robot butler does your homework for you. Honestly, you really should get one. Your brain constantly monitors the levels of oxygen and carbon dioxide in your body, so it can tell your lungs if they need to get pumping any harder. It's just as well you don't have to think about breathing because you do it every few seconds, which is at least 20,000 times a day. So you wouldn't have much time to think about anything else. And like every other part of your body, the lungs can't move without your muscles lending not a hand. Your muscles don't have hands. Without your muscles lending a muscle. The big boss breathing muscle is your diaphragm. There are 3 things you need to know about the diaphragm. It's shaped like a dome. It sits under your lungs, and that G in its name is totally unnecessary. It's a silent G. Apparently the head of the naming committee is a man called Clive. I might write to him to find out why it's there. Look at that little cartoon, the G is saying, what am I doing here? So when we say diaphragm, we don't hear the G. When your body decides you should breathe in, your diaphragm moves downwards and becomes a lot flatter. It's a team player, so at the same time, loads of little muscles between your ribs, called intercostal muscles, make your rib cage push outwards. This all causes the lungs to get bigger, which means the air is sucked in. When it's time to get rid of your manky old lung poo, or carbon dioxide if you're writing about it in an exam, then the reverse happens. The diaphragm pushes back up into a dome shape and the ribs pull back in, and this makes the lungs get smaller. It's exactly the same as what happens if you take a full balloon, untie the knot, then push in the sides. All the air whooshes out and you get kicked out of the birthday party. Mucus. This is a whole section on mucus. If you don't want to read a whole section on mucus, you should probably skip to the next part. But mucus lovers, strap in. This bit is especially for you. Mucus, or phlegm, what's with all these unnecessary G's? Another silent one. Is a slimy jelly-like liquid that lives inside your lungs. It might not win any beauty contests, but your mucus has got a very important job to do. Keeping your lungs nice and clean. Its sticky sliminess is absolutely perfect for trapping any dust or germs that might have sneaked down into your airways. When mucus has caught some gunk, it slides upwards, mucusing its way towards your mouth using tiny hairs on the inside of your bronchial tubes. Oh yeah, sorry, just in case you hadn't been put off your dinner yet. Your lungs are full of tiny hairs. Maybe book an extra 10 minutes next time you're at the hairdresser's. When the mucus gets to the top of your windpipe, sometimes your throat goes, absolutely not, no way, and coughs it out. But more often than that, you swallow your mucus without it even being aware of it. You're probably doing it now. Nothing to be alarmed about. Just a constant trail of delicious mucus sliding up your windpipe and down into your stomach. Yum. Your lungs produce over 1 litre of mucus every day. That's enough to fill 3 tins of baked beans. When you cough, it travels at roughly 50 miles per hour, which is about twice as quick as the fastest sprinters in the world, or 10 times as quick as Pippin. She's so lazy. Okay. I'll read a little bit more. Okay, smoking. I'm sure you already know that smoking is bad for you, but it's not just bad for you, it's really bad for you. In fact, it's one of the most harmful things you can possibly do to your body. Why is it legal then? That's a very good question. Well done me, but I don't exactly know the answer. Not so well done me. Maybe it shouldn't be legal. Smoking affects your lungs and airways in lots of different ways, and it's never an upgrade. You've just read how mucus is important for kicking out any nasties that have found their way into your tubes. If you smoke, it damages the little hairs that lift the mucus up and out of the lungs, so mucus gets trapped inside. This means smokers are much more likely to get lung infections because germs can't get booted out of their lungs. It's also why smokers have that grim, hacking cough that sounds like Pippin sucking up her dinner. Your lungs have a built-in lubrication system so that breathing is a smooth, sliding delight rather than a creaky, crunchy nightmare. They sit inside a balloon of slime called pleural fluid, which helps them expand easily with every breath. It works a bit like a water slide. Imagine trying to hurtle down one if there wasn't any water flowing. You wouldn't hurtle at all, would you? You'd get stuck on all the bends. Worst water park ever. We'll talk more about cancer later in the book, but as I'm sure you already know, it's not a good thing to have. It means that some cells in the body have grown abnormally and it can be life-threatening. You'd think that people wouldn't deliberately do things that make cancer more likely, but that's exactly what smoking does. And it doesn't just cause lung cancer. It's responsible for at least 15 different types of cancer. Another thing, cigarette smoke contains carbon monoxide, which is a poison. An actual, literal poison that makes it much harder for your blood to carry oxygen. Why on earth would you want to make it harder for your blood to carry oxygen? Even my dog understands how important that is, and she thinks that door handles are alive and woofs every time she walks past one. Smoking also damages the walls of your alveoli, so you feel out of breath all the time. But stick around, it gets worse. Cigarettes have tar in them, the same sticky stuff that you make roads with. And surprise, that's also poisonous. And it's not just your lungs that suffer from being filled with goo. Tar and other chemicals affect every single blood vessel in your body, making them narrower and putting strain on your heart. Plus, smoking weakens your bones and wrinkles up your skin. Have I put you off yet? Oh, and it gives you bad breath. Teeth like old stones. Seriously, Pippin has nicer teeth. And a yellow furry tongue like a dead caterpillar. There is one bit of good news though. As soon as someone stops smoking, things quickly return to normal. Their sense of taste comes back within a couple of days, and after a month or two, the little hairs that protect the lungs will repair themselves and get on with their job of filtering out the nasties. But much better than stopping smoking is never starting in the first place. Okay, we'll read a little bit more tomorrow, Year 3. Bye for now.